And there we go.
All right.
I got to get us on camera here because it went to black. Black this out. That's too funny. All right, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the 99-Cent Show. It's Friday night, a little after 6 o'clock. I'm your host, the Captain. My co-host, Chronic, is off doing a little recon work for the new up-and-coming marijuana show, cannabis show that we're going to be doing. So he's in Reno working with the dispensers and the owners of one of the big dispensaries, trying to do some stuff like that. But he'll be back on Sunday, so we'll talk about that. So Tony, my music director, our great music director and friend, has agreed to co-host the show tonight. How you doing, my friend?
Lovely, Captain.
That's cool.
Back at the stump, man.
Back at the stump.
No place like it.
The stump is the place, man. I'm telling you right now.
Big time, man.
You know, I mean, I can't believe we found this place. We actually get to, you know, make music here and talk about stuff. I'm going to do some other stuff in the stump, too.
Okay.
Coming up in the near future, you know, I've got that board game I'm working on, Cycles of War.
Right.
We're going to do some beta testing here. We're in the final stages of beta testing with that. So
Okay.
I'm going to invite some people here from Las Vegas to kind of get involved in the beta testing of Cycles of War. And we're going to do a little filming here and try to put a sizzle reel together so we can get that out and get that sold and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I want to play it.
well, you know, I mean, I'll get you. You can play on the beta test. There's a lot of people that actually want to play it,
Yeah,
you know, which I'm very
It
surprised.
sounds like it's a lot of fun, man.
You know, when my 10-year-old grandson can beat his dad and his dad gets frustrated, then you know it's a pretty good game. And that was funny. I actually had to fix the rules because my 10-year-old grandson figured out how he figured out that Grandpa left a big loophole in the game, and he actually figured out how to beat his father and his uncle.
That's great, man.
Yeah, and
So
they.
the age ratio, there's no ratio.
No, my grandkids play against their uncle and their dad. My grandsons are 11 and 13, I think now. I'm going to get shot because that's probably not the case. But they play against their uncle and friend, and they've
Nice.
they've kicked their butts a couple times. So, but my friends in Texas are working on it now, and Ryan has it actually too. Ryan, who sprained his fingers. There's no excuse for him not to play the game because he can't play piano. Because he got, I can't believe this. I talked to him today about possibly being on the show on Sunday night, redoing his show, right?
Right.
He told me, no, Captain, I can't do it. And he sent me a picture of his fingers, and they're both swollen like crazy.
Really?
I texted him back and said, what the hell, dude? What'd you do?
Sounds like he jammed his fingers, man.
He did. Guess what he was doing? He was playing family soccer, and he was the goalie.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like, dude, you make a living with your fingers, and you're going to be the goalie for the family soccer game? That's,
Watch out, Uncle Ryan. Incoming.
yeah. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, he told me I had to cancel a couple of concerts and stuff.
I'm sure he did.
So, well, tonight we have a very special guest. Charles Rangel has graciously agreed to come back and hang out with us again, and let's.
You rushed over here, man, through all that traffic.
I know. Let's go ahead and get Charles up on with us on the screen here, ladies and gentlemen. There's only 3 of us here tonight, so you know I'm kind of having to do it all. So, if you'll just excuse me for a second.
Small but mighty 3.
We'll get to this. Oh no, it's not that one. It's this one over here. And no, that's
me. Hi,
that's
everybody.
you. There we go.
Hey, hey.
Hey, all right, Charles. Welcome
How are
back,
you?
my friend. Charles,
Thanks.
ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Tony met a while back. You tell Charles' story.
Yeah, I met Charles out on the strip. I was actually doing a Mr. T impersonation.
I always forget that. It's crazy to think.
Yeah, after, yeah.
Under
I
all
remember that.
there was so much talent under that Mr. T. Who would have thought?
Yes, I was Mr. T impersonator.
Yeah.
But anyway, I stood next to him. I was like, wait a minute, man. How is this? What is this? How is he doing this? You know,
He was busking, right?
Right. He was
Yeah,
busking.
yeah, which
He
is
was-
basically street musician.
Right, street
You know.
musician. He had his tip bucket out there, you know. He had his big sign out there. I forgot what the sign was all about.
Oh, so you met me when I was doing the Rolling Stone thing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it was for a Rolling
What was
Stone.
that? What were you doing?
So, Rolling Stone partnered with Sprint, like Rolling Stone magazine partnered with Sprint, and they did a campaign called Street to Stage, and it was a national like search of street musicians.
Wow.
I got chosen to be like the LA guy, even though I performed in Vegas a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I ended up winning. It was amazing.
Wow! Congratulations. That's awesome. So what did you get? What did you get out of that?
I got some cool exposure. I got 4. I was in articles in 4 different. I was in 4 issues of Rolling Stone magazine, which was cool. It was about at the time where people stopped reading magazines, so it wasn't as huge as it sounds. But it's cool as like a musician to be like, I was in Rolling Stone.
Hey, yeah, big time on the cover of the Rolling Stone.
Yeah, and it kind of it got me in touch with a lot of producers and people that I still talk to today, and I got to perform at the Rolling Stone party at South by Southwest. This was back in 2012, so a little bit ago, but that's when he went like, oh, the sign, because I had a giant sign out there that was like, it was like a text in to vote thing, you know, like people would be texting it, said like Rolling Stone street guy.
Oh, so that was your hustle sign.
That was the sign. They actually sent that to me. They're like, when you're performing out in the street, put up this sign. I was like, sure.
Now, did you have to get permits or anything to perform out on the street with the sign as well?
No, that was back in the good old days.
When nobody said anything.
Yeah, they didn't.
Just walk by you.
Yeah.
Oops.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you do it in LA and here, both?
Yeah. I'd do 50-50. I'd be in Vegas was a lot of help because I was able to get more hours, and so it helped with voting. So just all day, every day, and there'd be people all the time. LA, I would definitely street perform, but it'd be like a lot of not performing.
I'm curious, where did you street perform in LA? Where does that thing happen? Because you wouldn't think that LA, being as sprawled out as it is, that would have a section where street performing would be lucrative.
Yeah.
Other than the beach.
Yeah, I was gonna say Santa Monica, Venice, and Hollywood Boulevard. Santa Monica Promenade. Well, Santa Monica Pier was probably the best for me, but I didn't start performing there until after the competition. Promenade, Venice Beach had like a lot of people, so when I was concerned with votes, maybe I'd go perform on Venice Beach. I wouldn't make maybe as much money as the Promenade, but I'd be able to get hours, and even though I had to deal with a bunch of shit. And Hollywood Boulevard was cool too. Yeah.
So what did you win for the competition?
Yeah, I mean, the surprise to me was just being in Rolling Stone magazine, just to be like, yeah, no big deal. But that was just cool as like as an artist.
Oh yeah.
And then there was no like cash prize. I didn't care about money back then.
Oh, there wasn't anything like that?
No, it was. I mean, it was
really?
like it was just they would let me perform at their party in Rolling Stone at South by Southwest. I mean, they obviously paid for like the flight and lodging and food and everything and hotel, like, but it wasn't
they
like.
They got you pretty cheap if that's all all you got for winning.
I was pumped. I didn't care. I was like, what? Rolling Stone magazine?
Yeah, but you would have figured you would have got at least an instrument or a chance at a record deal or something other than just, hey, dude, we really like your stuff. Tell you what, we'll fly you to Austin if you'll perform for our party.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, the contacts that I had after that were priceless. Just knowing the editors and people, like, I had a new family that edited for Rolling Stone magazine. So it's like, because at the performance, I got everybody's cards. They're like, we've fucking been following you through the whole thing. And, like, I met the editors and, like, the main dudes, you know what I mean, at Rolling Stone. So that was almost priceless in itself. So, I wasn't like, oh man, you didn't pay me. Like, I was like,
all right. So just like a lottery winner, everybody loves it when you win the first time, or win right then. But nobody really follows you like 24 months, 36 months later. So, has it done anything for you between then and now?
That specific thing, no. I mean, honestly, it really didn't do it too much for me. Like even a few months after, like it got me on a couple like morning shows. Like I was on KTLA 5, and I think I got a few calls from like some music publishers, which was maybe my first foot in the door in music publishing. And I mean, it was about the same time where I started like learning how to produce. But it definitely people enjoyed the story, and I think that helped like boost my career. But I mean, it's just one of so many things that an artist should do to help. You know what I mean? It's not like that wasn't like my big break. That was such a tiny little thing, but it's pretty badass to say it.
Yeah.
If that would have happened maybe like 15 years earlier, it would have been huge. Because maybe before the internet, when there was just Rolling Stone, everybody read it. But it wasn't like, but it was still cool to say, like, hell yeah, sure.
Well,
you
if
know?
it would also happen in a time when, let's face it, record companies actually could make money selling records. I was just watching this
no,
thing the other
100%,
day
yeah.
where they're talking about the fact that, you know, back when I was in radio and we were working records, you know, the standard was, you know, going gold, going platinum, you know, 500,000 records, 1,000,000 records.
Right.
I was watching this article the other day or this thing the other day where they're talking about if you move 100, 200,000 units, that's a big deal now. Because everything is download, everything's online. You know, nothing is a physical hard product anymore.
A lot of
You
people
know.
getting free music.
Well, a lot. You know, I mean,
That's the
that's the sad part about it is that if you're not a musician, you don't understand that music, like anything else, shouldn't be free.
Right.
You know, if you build a house, it costs you money. If you fix your car, it costs you money. If you go to Walmart and buy groceries, it costs you money. But it's ingrained in our brains because radio gave us music free, even though it's not free.
Right.
The radio stations pay BMI and ASCAP fees and broadcast fees, so the artist got it. But to the public, that was free music. And if they recorded it off the radio station onto a cassette, like we used to, you know, they used to back in the day, you know, when you were kids, you know, that was how you pirated music then. Well, you know, that mentality never left. I've got a, I hate to say this because I don't know if they do it anymore, but I know somebody who has a company who their company installed phone systems and stuff and built phone lines for different places and internet connections and stuff. Well, the owner of the company was using all of those servers that he was managing to pirate movies
Nice.
on the side. And the reason he did it that way is because if one movie gets downloaded here and another movie gets downloaded here and another one gets downloaded here, nobody from the copyright people really notice or do anything about it, as opposed to if somebody's pirating, they can trace a server back, like, you know, back in the day when they were tracing people down for pirating films and stuff.
Okay.
They'd trace somebody down to download a bunch of stuff and they'd bust you because you did that. Well, all right, if you want to go through the trouble of getting free movies and free music, and fine, that's fine, but you realize you're risking your business? And not only that, you're risking all of the guys that you installed this shit with, that you got paid to put this stuff in, using their stuff to break the law.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, it's no big. Well, this is where the rub comes in. They don't think it's breaking the law. Stealing music and stealing movies to the general public, and I'm not talking about everybody, but to a group of people, that should be free. You shouldn't get paid for your creative ideas. You shouldn't get paid for the equipment you bought or the time it took to make it or the sweat and brow. None of that exists because since they don't understand it, they don't believe you.
Yeah.
The whole. I have a problem with the whole sharing thing. I think that's what was really killing the industry.
Well,
When
yeah.
people decide, you know, okay. I mean, I can understand sharing it with your sharing your music, sharing, you know, what you have with a couple friends. But people, you know, they put stuff up on the internet and, like, say, movies and stuff, where people, I mean, a large population of people are getting this stuff for virtually nothing.
You know what's interesting about that? I wonder if Endgame came out all over the world at the same time for just that reason. Because if, you know, movies used to traditionally be released in the U.S. at a certain time and then overseas at a certain time and then, you know, around the world at different points in time. With the pirating and stuff that goes on in the Eastern, you know, in Asia and stuff, you got to wonder if maybe the whole reason that the movie actually came out almost universally at the same time, it actually debuted in Europe before it debuted here. Because I had people in my Vikings game talking about going to see it that night, and I think it was the night before, or maybe it was the same night, but it went all over the world, and I have a feeling that that was why they figured, okay, look, people are going to rip it off, and they're going to, you know, they're going to pirate it. So we need to get the most money we can right off the bat.
Okay.
Big screen, see it, you know, see it in its entirety like this, and got the public to go out and see it en masse before the pirates got a chance to, you know, to do what they do.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if it would have been released here, and then it would have been a week before it went into Asia, it would have been all over Asia before it ever got released.
It also might just be because it's just a huge conglomerate that, like, maybe you need to see how it does in the U.S. before it releases here on other movies, or maybe you need a budget for something.
Well,
but that
yeah,
makes sense. I didn't even think about it that way.
I honestly, you know, on some level, I think that that's it. I got a note from my friend here. I tried to adjust Tony. I can't hear him. Tony, your microphone. Nobody can still hear you. So I'll tell you what we're gonna do then. I'm gonna fix your microphone, and Charles, you're here because we want you to play some of this unbelievable music you play.
I'll play some music.
So why don't we get Charles going, have him play some music, because that's why he's here. We'll adjust your mic, and then we'll be back. It's the 99 Cent Show, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Charles Rangel.
Yeah, man.
Thanks. Well, thank you. I love this background. I looked up there. I had to
Awesome.
smile. Yeah, like space, planets, and stuff.
You like the planetary background I got going on
Love
behind
it.
you there?
It's my
Yeah, that's
fave.
cool, isn't it? There's a lot of cool stuff in that little. Let me find the
You
right
know,
the right screen that I'm looking for. There we go.
Cool.
I gotta.
okay. Yeah,
Come
we
on.
gotta get Charles back in the picture.
I
right?
know, man. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Oh, so this
Good.
is what the peeps see over here.
Too many things I got going on here. There we go.
All right.
Now we got you on.
I gotta
So.
sit up better.
Yeah,
Show
I love
my
that
gut a
little-
little bit. Gotta.
Go ahead and Tony.
Suck it in.
I think we
You
got
good.
your
Hey,
mic
guys.
fixed now, Tony.
Oh, good.
I think
Ready to
we-
go?
I think you can
Testing,
talk
1,
now.
2. All right.
Yeah, there we go. Now we got Tony.
Beautiful.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's called busking. If you're not familiar with the term, because a lot of people aren't, man. I wasn't. You know,
Yeah.
I thought it was. No, I honestly wasn't. I'm just kind of ignorant that way when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
Playing for tips.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. It's pretty amazing that that you can make the kind of money you can make. You were telling me a while back that you made more money playing that way than you did playing in some of the bands in Las Vegas. which blows me away.
Playing all the bands in Las
That,
Vegas.
that just blows me away that you can go out and play as a street musician. It's almost counterintuitive if you think about it. You know, that people see you up on a stage performing, and they think, okay, well, they're obviously making money. They're doing this, they're doing that. They don't really know how much you're, getting paid to play.
Right.
And I know as the owner of a club in Dallas, I had that, for years what it costs, to have bands come in and play and what your margins are and stuff like that. So I get it, but I never understood how much money you could make out there until you told me.
Yeah.
And then you did the same
Well-
thing. It's like, wow, man, if you get the right spot and the right crowd,
Right.
you can make some good
It
dough.
takes a while to develop,
Yeah.
though, a criteria to be able to make money. I thought I could just go out and start playing because all the years I've been playing, I was thinking after I saw Charles, which really inspired me to do it, he was playing the way he's playing right now.
Right.
And he had all these people, and every maybe 7 out of every 10 people, or maybe 5 out of every 10 people would. When it was a good night. I think it was probably a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people were just over it.
For
And
the
I was
ballets, man. Yeah, that was
Now
good.
I'm interested because since you play like with this style, and we talked about this before when we did your last show. We want to talk about it again because to make sure the audience understands. But did you ever do it just playing the guitar normally, and did you notice a difference between the two money wise? Because I would think that would draw just from a visual. Just wow, this is so cool because everybody else is playing this way. For you to do this, I would think that would be an immediate draw, and might actually be financially better.
Yeah, I think it made it more because I did something like when I first started. It was probably when I was going on tours with my band. I'd set up in front of grocery stores and do singing and playing, or I'd just walk up to a group sitting at a Starbucks. I'd be like, y'all want to hear a song? Yes or no? Sometimes yes. I'd sing them a song, and then I'd sell them a CD. That was my first introduction to hustling. But yeah, when I first started doing this, I think it was more because it's unique. It's more interesting to look at. And so yeah, there was a difference there. Now I haven't tried lately to do singing and playing out. Every once in a while, when somebody can you please sing? I'll give you $20. I'll sing and play something. But I haven't put him back to that. But back in 2012, 2013.
Now, is that what you did when you were just talking about the fact that when you first went out and just played, because you played for a long time, did you
develop?
Because I know how you play,
Right.
With your style and stuff. Is that
Right.
what you figured out?
Yes, well, I figured out certain things that that I would make money off of. It's
Really?
kind of like, when
Like what?
When the noose gets tight, you have to be creative.
What
So-
kind of things you talking about?
It's kind of hard to explain, but I have a technique called the claw technique.
Right.
Most of my musician friends, they know me by, and I was doing that out there for a while, thinking, okay, but no, it didn't. It really didn't generate any income. So I started trying different things like swinging my arms, bringing my arms out wider to get to give a visual, because when people see you, when people hear with their people pretty much, from what I learned, hear with their eyes. So when you catch them with a visual, then they'll start listening to the music. They have to see something first. I'm not saying all people, but most of them, I think. So I think that's what when I first saw Charles out there, I'm standing next to him, people walking by, giving him money. It's like, wow, man, this guy, what he's doing is very unique, because I was really impressed because I've never seen anybody play the guitar like this.
Not since Jeff Healey, when back in the day when I was in radio.
Like a
And
piano.
you know who Jeff Healey was, right, from the Roadhouse movie and stuff. When his first album came out, they brought us over and introduced him to us, and at this little place in Dallas.
Yeah.
And watching him play was just, when he stood up and did it, which was so,
Yeah.
that's when it was incredible. It's
Yeah.
one thing to see him playing
Right.
it while it's sitting there and
Right.
playing. When he stood up and did it that way,
Mhm.
you shook your head, especially because he was blind.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but I've seen very few people play the way you do,
Yeah.
like that. I
Yes.
mean, what inspired you to do that? Did you see somebody else do it,
Yeah.
or just?
Yeah, at the NAMM show, where we frequent, we end up at the same places.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny because we met on the street, but like I'll see him at the broadcast show or at this convention called the NAMM show.
I saw you once in the parking lot. I was just getting there. I was getting out of my car, and there you were.
Where at?
In the parking lot at the Sheraton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, the NAMM show, they'd always have like special guitar players like represent guitar companies, and seen a few that were just like, you know, ding ding with two guitars or one guitar or something. And I'm just like, wow, those harmonics are beautiful. And so that's really where I found that. But I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna learn that. So I was like, ah. But there was a guy at a music store when I was going to college in Orange County, and he was doing it, and he showed me how like it worked, and it was like perfect timing because it was at that time I was sort of like doing whatever I could, like street performing and like hustling to make money to pay for college. So I went to Venice Beach and started practicing and getting better at it and making money.
Let me ask you: is there a specific pattern that he showed you that you actually elaborated on?
Yeah, this is how he told me, like literally this amount of time. Open tuning. So I have open D major, find your scales, and just like go to town. Like just do whatever.
Wow. So that's the secret, is open tuning.
The open tuning, the folk tuning or whatever you want to call it, it's sort of like slide.
Because you can use the open
Yeah.
on
strings.
slide you're doing a lot of open string kind of shit.
Right.
Right.
And so like just me hitting it already sounds really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Mix that with like some, like it kind of gives it like a fuller sound.
Yeah, it does.
That makes so much
Yeah.
sense, though, now that you said that, because if it's
Yeah.
open tuned like that to a chord, no matter what you do, it's going to sound good.
Yeah.
I've always, like back in the day, you know, because I get the bass solos a lot.
Right?
and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
about
yeah. I
everything.
know.
You know, I was thinking, man, what would it be like if I played my bass like a piano? So I actually practiced it for a couple days and went on stage and tried it. You know, I did okay, but it didn't really
It's that
translate.
Stanley Clark style, right?
Well, no, I mean playing bass like
Isn't
a
that
piano.
what he does?
Like a piano.
Like,
No.
it's been so long since.
Yeah, no. We were playing bass like he's playing his
Yeah.
guitar.
Who was the hammer-on bass player?
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
No.
Oh man, come on.
Well, Billy Sheehan, he does hammer.
Well,
on.
Billy Sheehan does. No, there's a guy. I thought it was Stanley Clark. I'm getting.
You're
senile
talking about
now.
Stanley.
Stanley Jordan.
Stanley Jordan. You're
Stanley
talking about the guitar
Jordan.
player.
Yeah, he was a guitar
Oh,
player.
he's a guitar player.
Yeah.
God damn, dude! I guess I screwed up. I
That's okay.
honestly thought it was bass.
He's
I
just
thought there was
crazy,
a
though.
bass player.
He
Huh?
don't play like this though, does he?
No, he plays.
No, he
he's,
plays like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what he does is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But no, I
it's
thought
ridiculous.
I guess maybe not. I thought there was a bass player that did it that way.
When I first saw
You
him,
have to really set your bass up pretty low and
yeah.
low flow on that kind of thing to get it to work, right? Is your guitar especially set up to do this kind of thing, or no?
No, I mean Taylor usually keeps her action pretty on point, so it was just like right out the box. I didn't really adjust
Nice.
it.
Have you
Yeah.
tried it with a 12 string?
I have. It was okay. It's a little
Not
much.
the same.
Yeah.
Really overpowering.
Just with all those octaves. It would be cool if I had a 12 string to make it like in width, like if it was a double neck, like with a 6 string.
We were talking about that off the show beforehand. I bet you that there probably is one of those.
An electric slash acoustic.
Well, no, probably an acoustic 6 and 12 string double
Oh
neck.
yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, I've seen those too, but it would be cool. We were talking about doing this electric on an electric guitar before we
Right.
started the show, and we were saying that it would be really cool to find an electric acoustic combo, because that way you'd have it, you know, almost like a double pedal steel. You
Yeah.
know, where it'd be right there where you could play it without having the body, you know, stretching out the.
Sure.
You know.
But I tell you, man, I enjoy what you're doing
Thanks.
with just the acoustic.
Yeah,
I mean,
speaking of
I think it's you know, when you look at a guitar like that compared to, you know, electric guitars with, you know, guys are always using the pedals and stuff like that. You know, you have to actually play the instrument to get the tips that you usually get out on the strip.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've seen guys out there with a bunch of pedals and they're playing, you know, but it's ordinary because people have seen it before.
Yeah.
But when you're out there with your acoustic,
yeah, it's a little different.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I like it. It's been a blessing. Just the whole course, you know, of my life being able to learn this and the opportunities that it's given me.
Why don't you play another song for us?
Yeah.
All right? Ladies and gentlemen, the 99 Cent Show, and once again, Charles Rangel.
Thank you.
Crazy.
Dude, that's just amazing what you do. You know, it looks so easy. It really does.
Some of it's easy for me now.
I mean, it really does. You make it look so easy.
Times.
Yeah, I mean, how many years have you practiced doing this?
I practiced not that many years, but played this style.
Well,
about
that's what I
9 years.
mean. I mean, still at the end of the day, I mean,
9 years playing. Some of the newer stuff. What did I play? The one before that's probably newer. The first one I played is probably newer, so I had to focus a little bit more. That one I played so many times because it's such I get a good response. So I play that every performance I play.
yeah, it's a beautiful little tune.
And
What's it
then,
called?
That I don't even have a name. I think last time you asked me for a name, I don't have names for a lot of them, but some of the newer stuff. I haven't played here today, but
The song you just played, you don't have a name for that one?
well, okay, it's a Bruno Mars song.
Oh. Well,
I know he doesn't want me to play covers,
Mhm.
but it was I made it different. I didn't.
Right,
I didn't play
so
it.
it's
Yeah, as long as
actually-
you make it different. No, I don't want to
it's
get in
actually
trouble
not
with
a
Bruno Mars.
Song, but it was inspired by Bruno
It
It was
was
Mars.
inspired by
by
it.
Bruno
Yeah.
Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
No.
that's definitely a go-to song that I play.
That's cool. Do you find yourself making up stuff sometimes as you go along?
Yeah. Every time I play something, I come up with new little riffs or something in between. Like I have the basic structure and melody of a lot
Right.
of my songs, like a theme. But it maybe not like how much you improvise, because you'll just maybe just start from scratch and do things like very rarely do I do that. I think I'll come up with a theme and maybe like a structure, and then like as time goes on, I'll just develop certain ways of playing.
Right. So on your CDs, are you playing this style pretty much on?
On
Most
the
of your
CDs that I
CDs?
sell, yeah. Yeah, I got about 10, 15 songs of this style.
Okay.
Where can people find your CDs? Are they online or anything? Or
Yeah. If you go to iTunes and look up The Dime Store Novelist, which is what the album name is called.
The Dime Store Novelist.
Yeah, The Dime Store Novelist. I used to go by The Dime Store Novelist. I should actually re-release that album under Charles Rangel Music, because that's how I.
It's
go
more
by it right
recognizable
now,
for
yeah,
your
Charles
brand.
Rangel, yeah, but if you go to The Dime Store Novelist, I have a whole album on iTunes.
Nice.
And then I'll fit like maybe 5 songs at the end of the Chuck Morris stuff.
Okay.
now the Chuck Morris stuff. Explain a little bit about that.
The Chuck Morris stuff is more like Black Keys meets like AWOL Nation. It's just sort of it's like blues, like rock, but like
This is another
modern.
persona. This is a persona you do.
Yeah,
in a
this
different
is
style.
This is sort of like a band, sort of a fictitious band, because I haven't performed any Chuck Morris songs in like 5 years, but I produce the shit, and then I will a lot of times shoot music videos and build an online presence, and use it, and then like how we were talking earlier,
Mm-hmm.
pitch a lot of those songs for sync.
This is the stuff you do
Nice.
for sync licensing for commercials and music.
Yeah, that's
and
what
for
it's become
television and
now.
stuff.
Yeah, I think the first record I put out was a lot of like artistic, like, I was maybe singing about like strippers and like just being lazy and smoking pot, and then after that I started.
Sounds
doing-
like good ESPN music.
Yeah, then I started doing records that were more like open, that were like, Can't Stop Me Now, like Light the Fire, Set the Fuse, Ready, Let's Go, like kind of like stuff that's so broad that it can be licensed. The lyrics I can't be talking about. I love Miss Judy, my 4th grade teacher, because it's not gonna be able to be licensed into a lot of the stuff that unless there's a movie about
No, a
somebody
lot of the stuff
liking
has
a
to
4th
be
grade teacher
vocal
named
free.
Miss Judy. So
Yeah.
like I'll make it real broad. Some of the film, it can be a little bit more flexible, but like for the big shit like commercials, like Ford and like ESPN, you're gonna want like go big or go home type of lyrics, stuff that's gonna
Right.
not like I'm at a strip club throwing that money, like that's not really gonna. But maybe on some TV shows.
Now we were talking about the Electric Daisy Carnival off camera a little earlier,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's here this weekend, and that's insanity on steroids. If you've never been to Electric Daisy Carnival or you've never been to Burning Man, then it's like explaining Red to a blind man.
Yeah,
It's insanity. Now, have you played out there before?
I've street performed. I haven't played inside inside.
No, what does that involve out there? Because that's out at the racetrack.
Yeah. Honestly, I would just find an entrance, and I'd set up near that entrance, and then wait for people to come in or probably leave, because usually it's in June. It's very, very hot.
Yeah.
So I'll literally perform like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning when people are coming out of the festival. And I mean, there has been times where I've performed as people go in, you know, because the sun will go down and people will still be crawling in. So I guess it'd be a little bit of both. And it has been good sometimes.
How many times have you worked it?
I think 3.
Yeah.
I think I've done it 3 times. I haven't done it in like at least 3 years. I think the last time I did it was just so exhausting. But it was good.
It's an insane party. I mean, you take a rave and just, you know, throw, what, a couple 100,000 people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane what they get out there for
Yeah,
that. They
for
have
people who've never seen it,
Oh yeah.
the
no,
way
it's-
the way they dress.
It's 3 stages, right? Or did they expand now? Last time I knew it was 3 stages, but I haven't
I
paid any
think there's, like,
attention to
more.
it. So 3 main stages, the huge ones, you know?
there might be 3 main stages.
The LED walls and stuff they got out there. I mean, there's millions of dollars of stuff. I mean,
yeah.
did you see the photo of, folks, you got to go online and see how dangerous staging can be. See my little LED wall in the back that you guys all play in front of?
Yeah.
Got to look at the LED wall that fell at the Mandalay Bay.
Oh, when was this?
Oh my
that's
God! It was
crazy.
like what, last week or
What?
first
Oh, no.
beginning of the week. They were raising it up into the ceiling, using what's called chain motors. You know, I'm assuming they were using chain motors, where you know a chain goes through and that's how it raised it up.
Yep.
Well, one of the motors stuck and didn't go up, and they didn't check it because they didn't check the motor, and evidently it raised up. And the photo online is that wall. I mean, you're talking like a Lady Gaga size wall.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean a full-on concert wall that was
I can't
like
imagine.
pancaked. It was like it was like an infinity wall for a green screen. It was like this, and I'm looking at it thinking how much my panels cost individually,
Oh,
and just
my.
looking at it going, all right, so the insurance on this is going to go through the roof. I wonder if that's a touring rig. Because it didn't say, I never found out whose it was or what they were
Right.
setting up for. But imagine if you're on tour and that's your rig that just got crushed,
Yeah.
and you got dates to do,
Yeah.
and you got to get a hold of the company. And I mean,
budgets and stuff.
yeah, there was enough LEDs that, you know, I mean, I'm sure a lot of companies have backup panels and stuff
Right.
like that. But dude, I don't know if they had a backup wall.
It's unimaginable.
Yeah.
And that, I'll bet that at least half that thing was toast. Because if
Crazy.
you look at mine, if you look at these little LED walls, you know, the reason they butt together and they look so good like they do is they have, unlike television screens where you butt TV screens and they have that little black line, you know,
Right.
like you see in a lot of casinos or a lot of
Right.
places where they have 4 TV screens and the black line. Well, LED walls don't have those because they don't have borders. That's the positive. But the negative is, if you look at it, all of the LEDs are mounted in a plastic plate that sit on that frame.
Okay.
Well, they're lip to lip like this to get them to focus. So if you bend them this way or bend them this way, it's going to break all of that first row,
Right.
right? Yeah, you can see it. So imagine all of those panels, the first or second row is toast. You know, even if the frame came down, even if it,
How much?
you know,
How much do you think?
there was
With the
millions there.
damage.
Millions. It had to
Crazy.
be over. That was at least $1 million plus wall because it was huge. It was the full length of the friggin' stage. Be interesting to find out. But yeah, I
Man.
mean, it just shows how dangerous.
So I hope nobody got hurt.
Nobody did get hurt, luckily. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's, you know, it was a union house. From what I understand, it was a union house. It was a union gig. So I know those guys because I worked in union. So they were going to be away from it. But evidently, it said that nobody checked the motor, so
Yeah.
it stuck. So yeah, the insurance liability is going to be nuts on that, and who takes care of it? Because if it's Mandalay Bay's fault because it's their crew, then they have to pay for it.
Right.
But just like I said, if it was their wall, it's one thing. Because you know,
Right.
if they were renting it and it was their event, well, they just have to get another one. But if that was a touring show's wall, didn't say
Yeah,
it didn't say on the line. But if it was a touring show's wall, oh.
No, that's terrible.
Ooh, yeah. That shit's expensive, boy.
Yeah, man.
Well, so getting back to the Electric Daisy Carnival, so did you make any kind of money out there? Because, you know, that's notoriously kind of a get high and go fly out there.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think the first year, maybe 2, I made decent money, and then the third year, I don't know if it was because I was exhausted or it was 100 degrees when the sun started coming up, but it just wasn't that good. I think
Did you
that's
go
what
out and
it
play
was.
at night?
Both. I think. Well, I played at night when people were walking in, and then more when people were walking out, because that's like all at the same time. I think by that time people were just like they had already spent all their money. I think I got more bracelets and like
Yeah.
little plurs, plur, love and peace. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
now give me
yeah,
your
here you
money.
go.
Yeah, same here, man. I
I
never
love peace, love, and money.
I never did well at these concerts.
Yeah,
You know.
but you have to try them. You have to try them because, you know, certain artists will do good at certain festivals. Certain festivals are good for, you know, South by Southwest has always been kind of good. The Gay Parade in Hollywood was good, but the one in San Francisco wasn't.
Oh, really? Now, what was the difference in those?
I don't know. Could be sidewalks. People,
Really?
You know, I have no idea.
Did you work San Francisco
I
busking
didn't know.
for a while?
Sorry, other way around. San Francisco was good.
Oh.
Hollywood wasn't.
Oh, well, see, I can understand that.
No, San Francisco. I think yeah, it was like really good.
San Francisco's, I mean, you know, I hate to say this, but it's true. San Francisco's a much more liberal, artsy, supportive town when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
The film and TV industry may be huge in LA, but as far as
Yeah.
supporting individual artists and stuff,
Yeah.
it doesn't really have that kind of reputation.
Yeah.
That's why I questioned when you said playing on the street, because in my mind, the only place you play in LA is out at the beach.
Yeah, when there's big events and we got like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people at like maybe a parade or something, even like Halloween, there's a few cities that like everybody congregates to wear their costumes. Like this year I was in Texas on 6th Street. Past few years I was
That's
on
in Austin, for those of you who don't know.
Santa Monica Boulevard down in Hollywood. They'll have shut down. They'll have everybody there. It's a good one.
A friend of mine did Santa Monica, I guess, does some stuff like that all summer, because I have a friend of mine who's in the staging business, and he did a Blues and Brews tour, I think, down there, where they shut down the entire street down there and put a
Yeah,
stage on the
they
street.
do that.
And they had some busking going on in that show too. They had some blues guys playing around in
okay.
different corners and stuff around there.
Nice.
So, but you know, like Reno, to me, it just blows me away that little Reno is embraces stuff that you would think big cities would.
Yeah.
Like this, what we're talking about. The last time we talked on your show, when we did this, we were talking about the fact that Reno not only celebrates street music, they actually have places where street musicians can go and play. They have a couple of festivals where they celebrate it, and they assign corners to people where you can book corners and play all over
Right.
the downtown area.
Yeah, that's really
Right.
cool.
And then there's a couple of staging places down there, much like Austin, where they have bands and stuff up there. But I mean, down here, you basically, you know, I mean, I've always told people you live in adult Disneyland here. It'd be like living in Disneyland, you know, or like living in Orlando. When Walt Disney originally designed Disney World, if you look,
Right.
if you go way back when you and I were kids, remember they were supposed to be houses there, and there was supposed to be living space. It was supposed to be a huge, you know, a real city of tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right, where it had all that living space and stuff. Well, we kind of live in that. I mean, you know, this latest ad that's out on TV talking about Vegas, everybody thinks that, you know, that we live down at the casinos and it's a casino town and that's it, because in their mind, it's like going to Disneyland for
Yeah.
adults. It's, you
Right.
know, that's where they go, or you know, or Sandals or one of the resort places.
Right.
Where, you know, I mean, there's people that live on those islands and work there and just have a
Yeah.
normal life, and then there's the people that come in and spend money.
Yeah.
Right.
And Vegas has, you know, the corporations have embraced that mentality. I can't say that about the original guys and the mom and pop guys, because the mom and pop guys would have embraced guys like you.
Yeah.
They would have had you guys playing in the front to draw people in.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. I asked him a couple times, yeah, on the in the sections between the casinos on the Strip where all the stores and stuff are. I said, you know, did you ever stop to think about maybe going down and talking to one of those guys about, you know, giving you a permit or allowing you to play in front of their place to draw people in? Because you would
Yeah.
think that that would be, you know, especially with guys like you, or guys like you who have a very unique style of playing,
Yeah.
that would be an attraction.
They don't. Most of them don't want you there.
They don't want you there, and I don't understand that. You're not taking anybody's money. I mean, the money you get out of an individual, if that business is relying on the $1 or $2 or $5 that you get from somebody tipping you for playing, that's paying their light bill, they're in
Right.
deeper friggin' trouble than just you playing in front of their
See, the
place.
problem with that is it's a conflict of interest because the city tells you that you can't play on the sidewalk.
Yeah, but
So
if
even
they
if you're in front of their place, it's still a public sidewalk.
yeah, but if they have those little balconies like we talked about before,
Mhm.
you know, where a lot of those have their own little balconies and their own little walkways and their own
Right.
little stretches where they control that.
Right.
And they could put
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
out
that's-
there to do that.
That's different.
And you would think that logically, for the fact that, hey, man, you know, it's not costing me anything, and a guy like Charles or a guy like you is going to draw maybe an extra 50 or 100 people to the front of my store to watch, and if I do my window right, so
Right.
that I draw people into my business, I got free publicity at my
yeah,
front door.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You would think
But
the M&M store or, you know, or one of those, like I said, one of those places along the strip
right.
would embrace that kind of thing.
You know, you would think the city would embrace it.
Well, I understand
That's the
that.
problem.
Well, I see that, but I also see that the city answers to the guys
Because-
in the casinos,
yeah,
and they don't want anybody spending
the
50
enter-
cents out of the
The
street.
entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, as long as you work
And
for
you'll
them.
get locked up for playing your guitar.
There were two places that kind of did that. The Link would hire street performing musicians inside their little strip because they own the whole strip, and they would actually pay you. That was short-lived. They canceled that, and Bally's did too. Bally's.
Now, why did the link cancel? Do you know, or they just did it? They just
No, I
can't.
have
Did they
no
give
idea.
anybody rhyme or reason to it?
No, I don't think so. But I was never part of that. I was hired. I wasn't even. I used to be hired inside of Bally's, and then at one point they were just like, you can just come play in here if you want. And then they stopped that too. So it's like, but that was a little bit ago. Both of them kind of seemed to stop their music thing at the same time.
Yeah, Bally's has that big long bridge, right, going back to the casino.
Oh,
Isn't
man,
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that that'd be a great place to have people
dude, that
playing.
was a long time ago, bro. They don't got that anymore.
Oh, it's
they
gone?
got,
That's
they got
right.
shops and shit.
Yeah,
now.
Oh,
that's right.
dude.
There's shops
I was
there.
like,
Look, man,
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't been
gone.
years ago.
Yeah,
Look, you
that's-
have to understand something, and that's the other thing that people don't get about this. I worked at the Hilton / Westgate / LVS almost 10 years, 6 nights a week.
Yeah,
I went there at 4 o'clock, got out at 1 in the morning.
yeah,
I had 1 day a week off.
yeah.
The last thing I want to do is
Yeah,
go
you
down
don't
the
wanna go
strip.
back down there.
The last thing I want to do is go see a show. People go, have you seen this show, that show? It's like, no, I work the same show 6 nights a week.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
And why do I want to go see a show?
Yeah.
So, like I said, yeah, I went down to the strip every day for 7 years, and I don't know what the hell's going on 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
Because I never go 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
That's why I said I was laughing. I was like, oh man, that really shows how dated I am. It's like, wow, the
I
walkways
miss that
there
though.
anymore.
I miss all that room they had at Bally's, man. That was
Yeah,
a
me
golden
too.
spot.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be another place you would think that would be interested. Of course, you'd have to play the right kind of music, but you would think that the Venetian, you know, with the canal and everything, you would think that if people came down with a mandolin or something, or or
Oh, they
played
ran a
that
couple
kind-
people off from the front of
And that's
the
what I
Venetian.
mean. It's like,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't get
but
it.
the person they ran off sued them and they won.
Oh, you're talking about the it was like a character. It was like
Yeah, it's a
Spider-Man
character,
store
yeah.
or something like that. I
Yeah.
remember that. It was that was kind of cool because security came out and was like, and he was like, this is public property.
Right,
you got nothing to
exactly.
do." Yeah, I remember that.
well, we got 4 minutes left in the show, folks.
That was fast.
It was. Well, you know
Time
what? It was
flies
a good
when you're having
discussion,
fun,
man. I mean, it's great having guys like you on, Charles and Tony, especially musicians. I love sitting talking to guys who actually play because you get into these kind of discussions,
Sure.
and it's just fascinating to find some stuff out. And hopefully the audience loved it too, because to me this was very informative, and
Yeah.
plus the fact we got you to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know.
Back.
And that being said, a couple things. So tell everybody where. oh, I can't believe I'm coughing now. Tell everybody where they can get your CD. Again.
iTunes, The Dime Store Novelist, or if you just go to charlesrangelmusic.com, it has links to everything there.
Oh, so charlesrangelmusic.com will
Yeah,
take you to
that's
everything,
it,
so
yeah.
you can
Nice.
get this stuff.
Yeah, everything.
And have you got one more that's royalty free?
Yeah,
that we
100%.
can play tonight before we end.
I got one.
All right, folks. While Charles gets ready to play, I want to say thanks to my friend Tony, as always, for being on the
All
show,
right.
for co-hosting tonight. Chronic, we'll see you on Sunday night. Remember, Game of Thrones, the final Game of Thrones. We didn't talk about it tonight because so many people are mad and upset and whatever. But boy, after the show on Sunday, if you haven't watched it, too friggin' bad, because I'm going off like a cheap suit.
I hear
On
you.
that and some other stuff. I got some TV issues I got to talk about. But right now, The 99 Cent Show is about music, and we're going to get to that right now. So thanks a lot for tuning in. We hope to see you again on Sunday. And here is Charles Rangel on the 99 Cent Show.